our sort of final area ahead of this weekend is the Rugby Europe Championship is kicking off. The controversy-ridden,
ridiculously named yoke that it is.
Rugby Europe is the organisation itself that are just never too far away from controversy. I'm looking forward to see whom gets handed the brown bags and all the brown envelopes and all the mad stuff that does be going on in this wee competition.
Who's going to be whistleblowing this time?
Yeah, it's like it was such a shit show last year.
It really was. It was baffling. So correct me if I'm wrong. Georgia, obviously, through top.
Georgia was sort of above it all.
Above
in the
and
sense
beyond.
That they were just winning all those games.
And every so they're in the World Cup.
Yeah.
To review what happened last year, Romania qualified. No.
Here's where it started. Spain beat Romania. And that was fine. That was the big game of last year, but it was midway through the tournament. But that was always going to be the game that in all likelihood was going to decide second place,
which would be who's going to get the
going to get the World Cup slot. Is dead right. And interestingly, they didn't count the games against Georgia, regardless of what happened, because Georgia were already in the World Cup, I think. So they didn't. It was because it was doubling as a qualifier tournament,
right?
So they did, for the qualifier aspect of it, the Georgia game wasn't included because they were already qualified,
right?
So Spain Romania was really the push comes to shove game,
and Spain.
I watched it. It was great. 22-10, I think it was. They hands down played Romania off the park, kicked them off the park, moved the ball much better and much more efficiently than Romania in Madrid, and they killed it. And it was great. It was all happy days. Looks like Spain are going to the World Cup. Just finish the rest of these qualifier tournaments, and then in Belgium, a Romanian referee was in charge of the game. That could sink Spain, and yes, by all accounts, was just unbelievably biased, and the Spanish were
like a 19-3 penalty.
Just kept whistling, and all of a sudden Belgium, who had been hell and gone in every other game,
but managed to beat Spain, which propels Romania to the qualifier. And that seemed to be that controversy and all.
It seemed to be that, except there was going to be a review because the Spanish players were right at the end of the game and were literally wanting to, I think, would have set the bulls on the referee. They were they were crestfallen. It was terrible. It was really, because it was optimism in a young nation, and just.
But it's also how is it allowed that a Romanian guy is in charge of that game? How there's too much at stake when the World Cup's that's not a neutral ref. No, it's just not, and the ref needs to be neutral.
It's that's a guy World Cup is everything. When you're a tier 2 nation, World Cup qualification is everything.
And I'm guessing if you're a Romanian guy who is also an international referee, you're into your rugby and you want to see Romania going well. So it's baffling that they never got to that
even
scenario.
If it's not corrupt, there's the human element of it as well. So what happened was there was an inquiry into it, and that we dragged on for a bit. We didn't really know what was going to emerge. What came of it was that the Spanish guys, who were very angry after the game, got 6-month-long, year-long bans, including their captain. Baffling, and it was just it was just screw you, Spain, even more so. And then they decided there had been no punishable errors by the ref, and that was going to be that. Except Romania tagged on with Russia jumped in. Russia, who had been hell and gone as far as their rugby was concerned, decided to jump in and piggyback on this and call out Spain, Romania, and Belgium for fielding ineligible players.
Yes,
that was then investigated. All three were deemed to have done so, and Russia hence qualified.
Bunny hopped all three of them to get into the second spot, and are now in the World Cup in our group.
And because all three of them had been disqualified, Portugal got the wild card game against Samoa.
Right.
And so it's all just.
They lost that.
They lost that.
Yes.
Good.
No,
indeed. Sorry, excuse me. It was Germany. Germany played Portugal, and they got in. And they got the game against Samoa, and. I mean, for a couple of minutes there, it was tense, and then Samoa started scoring loads of tries.
Good. I'm glad to hear it.
Yes.
But the baffling thing is that of all of that thing that came of last year, starting with a Romanian ref, well, actually starting even before that with an unprecedented Spanish win on Spain, the net result is that Russia are in the World Cup.
I did, just as a side note, I went to the Champions Cup final last year. Leinster were in Bilbao and met a guy, a Spanish guy, who was just way into his rugby. And at the time, because the investigation was still going, he was still buzzing off the wind, but crestfallen and outraged by the Belgium game, and he was still optimistic that they would be resolved. There would be punitive measures. Maybe they might get a repeat. And look, obviously
there's never a repeat.
But like the degree to which, like, we're going to move on from it, but the degree to which that's going to have sucked the oxygen out of Spanish rugby, like it's
a whole cycle going.
They cheated out of them in so many ways, and I don't know what the crack is with the ineligible players. Don't field ineligible players if that's what you were doing. Register everybody, get everybody, make sure everybody's Spanish qualified.
It seemed to be the crux of it was something clerical, though. It was like adding players to a squad halfway through incorrectly. But even then, yes, you want the union to be on top of that.
But it's practical measures that this up and coming nation playing good rugby, getting into it, getting decent little crowds in Madrid, and building on that. They're going to have the oxygen sucked out of them, which makes this year a curiosity in a World Cup year.
Who's going to get the
Romania aren't in it, Spain aren't in it, but Russia and Georgia are. So for Georgia, this is like the beginning of a year of World Cup warm-ups, and it paints a curious picture.
It does, and there are some curious fixtures in this to come this weekend, which we're going to zero in on, particularly Spain v Russia. That's seriously interesting. I'd love to see Spain hammer them, to be honest. Every sense of justice in me really doesn't want this year to go well for Russia at all, because it was
very sly.
It
had nothing to do with rugby, but it didn't.
Sly. But it was very well executed, slick manoeuvres off the rugby pitch. But I'd like to see Spain do it. Like you're saying, I don't know how long those bans are in effect. Will that still be in effect come this game? I don't know.
There's not a lot of news coming out of it.
No, I know. We're probably one of the few people who will actually cover it this weekend, because there's a lot of Six Nations stuff going on. But I'm really interested to see that. It is in Spain. It's in Madrid. I'm hoping there's a good crowd. I'm hoping they
based
put a score
on the evidence of last year, which is a while ago now, but it's the last time I got a proper look at Spain. You'd think that they would get the job done. They did last year in Russia. So
you wonder how much prep behind the scenes Russia have been doing now, knowing that for the last however many months they're in the World Cup. They do tend to do big tournament camp prep very well as a nation. Thinking Olympics and things.
It's more of a learning sort of weekend than anything else. Although you do have what is traditionally in this tournament the biggest game in the biggest year, because it's Russia against Georgia. No, Romania against Georgia in Bucharest. Which is, that's the biggest banana skin that Georgia have to overcome.
Usually that being said, Madrid may be tougher this year, or Russia.
That's the thing. It's Romanian rugby, in terms of recent results, they had a home loss against Uruguay. They've were hockeyed off their home
tier
pitch
team,
against USA. They've had a really rough year. The Timisoara Saracens they're their biggest club in the Challenge Cup. They shipped 111 points against Northampton.
Record defeats going in. Dragons they shipped 50 something as well.
It was as rough a year for Romanian rugby last year as they've ever had. And outside of that referee, nobody really made a play for them.
That's true. He at least tried. Could have got away with it too. If it weren't for those meddling.
It would be absolutely shocking, really. Where in years gone by, it would be a result that you might see happen. It would be shocking to see them
Georgia
to turn over Georgia. Georgia, this is our first look at them in a new year. They obviously have to shake off what was a very disappointing
result in Rome
last autumn. And it's all about the World Cup now, baby. First, don't slip up here, but test new players, test new systems. He'd like to see them, expanding on their playbook. A bit more attacking play. They have tried to work that into these tournaments.
They have.
It's always difficult for them though, when they're up against non-quality opposition in terms of figuring out what works and what doesn't work against those sides. There is that limited.
It's true. Well, they will never find out whether what they're doing is foolproof or is the best way to go until they're in the World Cup playing against opponents of the level they need to be getting results of against if they want to be advancing. I presume their goal, as it ever is a quarter final. They want to win the games to get themselves there, and they've been bloody close before. And
very tough game against Fiji though.
It is, yeah. Well, it's an interesting one. It's another one of those who's going to control the pace, because if it's a Georgian pace, then Fijian players will be very lost in that kind of game of rugby. Yeah. But conversely, if it's a Fijian broken game, there's no hope those Georgians keeping up.
Graham Roundtree is in there at the moment. He's the Georgian
forwards coach, and is baffled by how strong they all are. In terms of how much they lift and how well they scrummage. He's used to seeing big men, and he's not seen anything like the caliber of those Georgian forwards, which we've all known. And like even Eddie Jones bringing them into the England camp to bully his England pack last year.
That's why it's sort of drifting off topic, but shout out Scotland for going over there to play in Tbilisi. First T1 side to do one in a World Cup prep, because as far as Scotland are concerned, that is less than ideal prep. It's like it's going out of your way. I guess it's on your way to Japan, I guess you could say. I'm surely not going to fly back from Tbilisi to Scotland only to go to Japan. That wouldn't make much sense. You're already in Asia, like just go, just on you go, on your way to Japan. So.
I'm not sure. I don't know how they're going to work it, but fair play to them is right.
It's huge, and it's going to be, as you say, like it's going to be massive for Georgia to get that run out. But as far as this tournament is concerned, just expanding their playbook and maintaining some momentum would be huge, and you would expect them.
They want to try and find a few more ways of scoring tries, like we're saying. Just a few more ways of scoring tries. Defensively,
again, they're not properly being tested. Again, the Spanish game might be a better, test for them in that way, because Romania don't attack with that much fluidity or pace. But defensively, getting around the corner was an area that they really struggled with,
particularly in the early game.
Dealing with speed and slowing up teams who are really trying to play it quickly is another area that they're going to be trying to work on going into this year.
So it'll just be curious to see what they look like, I suppose. Obviously a few allowances, slow starts notwithstanding, we're backing them. They should be getting the win here, and that's what they'll be going for. And hopefully with aplomb and a bit of bonus point land would be good. They're not normally that kind of team, but I'd love to see it.
And listen, I think we're pretty much going to wrap it up there.
Thank you very much for watching that video. If it's your first time here, please leave a like and subscribe down below, and leave a comment as well if you enjoyed it, because we enjoyed the conversation.